assistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a good karma brands radio station.
Good morning.
And good morning. Happy Halloween and happy Dodgers World Series Day. The Dodgers are world champions. Hit the sound.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
That's Fox TV on the call. Last night in the Bronx, the Dodgers closed out those stinking Yankees for a 4-1 series victory. We are live for the Southland this morning. Andy Kamenetsky, the Big CY Clinton Yates live from New York, and I believe Greg Bergman's running around too celebrating. And producer Jorge, the social team. Let's do it. The Blue Review Morning Show is on this Thursday as we celebrate a world championship for the city of LA, Jack. Listen to us on 710 a.m. on the all-new ESPN LA app and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. The Blue Review Morning Show made possible this morning by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's and powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it.
It's time for the Blue Review. The Blue Review with Bergman and team.
The Blue Review Morning Show is on. Here's Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates.
Wake up, Los Angeles.
Wake up, you gorgeous people, because you are fans of a World Series championship team, the 2024 Dodgers. They are your World Series champions. Secured last night, Game 5, 7-6, come from behind victory over the Yankees in New York. Andy Kamenetsky, Greg Bergman, Clinton Yates joining us from the scene in New York. He was on the field in the clubhouse when all the craziness was happening. What a game, what a season. Unreal.
CY, that must have been one of the most intense moments of all time. Watching Shohei run on the field and then Teoscar going on the field, and just in the way the whole thing happened. I know it was in New York, but there was a lot of Dodger fans there. Was it as exciting as it felt here in my living room, screaming, jumping, running around, being the most ridiculous person I could possibly be?
Yeah, it was good, and it was good because I feel like there was a lot of relief that was let out, quite honestly. That was a lot of the vibe. His team is better than the Yankees. I think that needs to be understood right out of the gate, Greg. You know, is that around baseball, people knew the Dodgers are a better team. The Yankees, not that good. If they weren't wearing the pinstripes, people would not necessarily have thought this team was as good as they are in the path that they did. So for the Dodgers to do what they were supposed to do, for the Dodgers, even with Ohtani not having the series that you want, even with the cobbled together pitching staff, even with all of the changes that they made, they did what good teams do, which is beat bad teams. This just happened to be in the World Series. And as their opponents went on in the playoffs, we talked about this a little bit, they beat the Padres, whoever a lot of people thought were the best team in the playoffs. They beat the Mets, who were the hottest team in the playoffs. And then they beat the Yankees, the most memorable team in the playoffs. And it just kind of felt, AK, like all of those things, all of those superlatives all of those things that people were trying to put up against them, they all went away. You know why? Because they were a better baseball team than all those teams. And not only were they a better baseball team, they also played the best baseball. That's not necessarily that easy to put together, and they did it. It was fantastic.
They're the best team this season, but also, too, Clinton, I think you laid out what's going to make this season in particular so special for so many Dodger fans and certainly the players on this team. You listed out just the roll call of adversity that they had to overcome for all the money that went into this team and the way that they entered the season as the 800-pound gorilla that everybody thought was just going to stomp their way through the season. They dealt with injury after injury. Two of their biggest stars, Shohei Ohtani and World Series MVP Freddie Freeman, the only choice for the award, the only obvious choice. The guy that hit 6 straight home runs in a World Series game, knocking out one George Springer, who formerly held that title at the expense of the Dodgers as part of that 2017 cheating Astros. Who the hell is George Springer? Nobody knows who that guy is anymore. But those two guys were playing so hurt throughout this series.
Absolutely.
And they had 3 starters. 3. Like, that was your option tree. The 3 guys that they used for the entire playoffs. This was a group that, I know the payroll is enormous. I know they're the Dodgers, all that stuff. They had to earn this thing.
Yeah, they did. And you talked about how Shohei Ohtani didn't have a great series. No, he did not have a great series. He was hurt. It was obvious he was hurt because he was trying to steal a base, what he probably shouldn't have been trying to steal. However,
he wanted 60-60.
He needed that base.
He was going to roll him over. He was going to be 60-60.
He wanted that base.
It's a 4-1 game, dude. Anything less than a grand slam, you're running. It's the World Series.
No, and he hurt himself. No, totally agree. But he hurt himself in that play. But no matter what, Shohei Ohtani held this team together through the whole season. He was the reason they got to the playoffs. Mookie Betts was hurt. Max Muncy was hurt. Tyler Glasnow, Yamamoto.
He
all
had
these
one of
guys
the greatest
were hurt.
Septembers in baseball history.
In baseball history. He was everything he did to get the Dodgers to the playoffs. Everybody else just lifted it up. And especially a guy like Freddie Freeman. This is a movie script for Freddie Freeman. Through everything CY that he went through having to leave the team because his kid is sick and in the hospital and doesn't know what's going on, and he's crying by his bed. He gets a little bit better. He's able to come back to the team. Then then all of a sudden he hurts himself. He hurts his ankle, and he can't play in Game 6 of the NLCS. Luckily, he gets a few days off before he can go into the World Series, and he has one of the greatest World Series of all time, breaking records after records after records. And then you have a guy like Blake Trinan, who just sits out there. And he was getting lit up. He couldn't find the plate. It wasn't not lit up, but he couldn't find the plate. Going 40-some pitches. And Dave says, do you want this guy? Giancarlo Stanton, you got 2 on. He says, I want this guy. Gets him out. Gets the next guy out. Then that's it. And it's all it took. Big-time moments from big-time players. It was amazing, Clinton.
Yeah, and you know who put him in that spot? Say it. Say it, Greg.
Oh, you want me to say it? Well, hold on.
Say my name. Say my name.
I'm going to do more than just say it.
Did you? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, quickly. AK, it is Halloween. It looks like Greg came dressed as a Dave Roberts respecter.
Wait,
That's
hold on.
really weird. I was not expecting
a Dave Roberts worshiper even.
See, are you watching the YouTube stream?
I'm watching.
Dave Roberts respecter.
Wow.
Not only Dave Roberts respecter. Right there. Roberts jersey.
You have almost reached the place, Greg Bergman, where you deserve Dave Roberts. You have almost reached a place.
Jersey, CY.
Because
you're not there yet.
Okay, Clinton and I talked about this before, and I'm going to get it out of the way early, and I want to say
such a ridiculous thing.
No. I want to say also.
No, it's not.
Because we are a station of the people. I heard from a lot of people last night requesting this morning. Many people are saying.
Many people are saying.
Many people are saying. Yes.
But I heard from a lot of people at this station, a lot of our loyal P1s, a lot of the folks listening, that they wanted me to name some names of the people that did not deserve Dave Roberts. I'm going to do it once, and I'm going to get it over with. You will not hear it again.
Okay, I just want to explain something about Dave Roberts after you name your names.
I'm going to name my names.
Oh, so you dressed as Dave Roberts Appreciator plus qualifier. I didn't see the qualifier on the side.
You will not hear of this again. So if you are not listening now, go find a friend who
I thought you were
listens.
going to say go F yourself.
No. The following people do not deserve Dave Roberts. Greg Bergman, Travis Rogers, Jorge Barones, Laura Romo.
I love this list.
And, of course, Chris Morales. Y'all,
that's a 5-man squad.
But you get him anyway. You get him anyway.
So now Dave Roberts has been to the World Series 4 times in 8 years. He has won twice. He is in Dodger lore for the history of time. He is now gets a lifetime contract. When he wants to leave, he leaves. He is not being fired. That whole narrative is gone. Kaput.
Oh, and
the
Steve
whole
Mason
thing.
does not deserve Dave Roberts either. Now
Correct.
I'm done.
Now that you said the word narrative, I was like, hold on, where's Mace?
I am done.
Yeah.
But before the playoffs started, and we sat there on Mason Ireland, me, Mason Ireland, all talking about this, and it said, okay, this is the postseason for Dave. If it really is going to depend on what he does. If you lose to the Padres and in the first round to the division opponent for the first round for 3 years in a row, you're going to be fired. That's what happens in Los Angeles. Doesn't matter if you're a Laker head coach, if you're a Kings head coach, a USC head coach, a Dodger. It doesn't matter. All of them. But the fact is, it was going to come down to what he did and what his decision-making was from his gut. And he made almost every single correct move throughout the entire playoffs. Every time there was a gut decision that he had to do with his bullpen, he did the right thing over and over again. So no matter what, for all the people that don't deserve it, it doesn't matter. He did all the right things when it mattered most.
I think it matters for a reason of understanding who Dave is, because I think that we try to sort of, how do I say this? I don't think it's all gut, Greg. There's a lot of brain that comes with a lot of Dave's decisions. And I think that a lot of times when we look at what Doc has done from a managerial standpoint as a skipper, there's this assumption that all he's good at is, well, he only knows the players. All he can do is really go on field. But Dave is a pretty smart guy. You know, there were some decisions that were made here in terms of the series that I think had a lot more to do with just the guy that keeps the team together, that had to do with the guy that's pressing insert button here on any given game day. And that's what I think the strength ultimately, and quite frankly, you know, kind of speaking as a storyteller, the legacy of what Dave is going to be is, like, not a lot of people, when they look back at managers, think of day-to-day decisions. Like, Lasorda gets kind of, not to say a pass on that, but you press one button in Kirk Gibson, people think you're the greatest guy of all time, because you probably kind of are for doing that. But Dave's strength is managing the egos of the high payroll that we got to. That's literally what his best skill is. The day-to-day baseball, I think, is just something that, you know, he happens to excel at. But I agree with you, Greg. The fact that his legacy is cemented in terms of locally is really important, you know, to what this kind of generation of Dodgers fans really cares about. If you're a kid, let's just say you're, I don't know, 15 or 18 years old right now, Dave Roberts is all you know. It's all you've ever seen in terms of what you understand about the standard of excellence. And that standard of excellence is way higher as a particular unit than it is for any other team that wasn't, as you would say, Andy, the cheating Astros. You know, Dave has not only cemented himself in terms of the national legacy and the local legacy in a baseball way. He's very much now the image of what you think about. And there's no way around it anymore, because it's not like you're just only showing pictures of, you know, NLCSs. You're showing pictures of the World Series now, particularly in Yankee Stadium of all places.
Yeah, coming up next, I want to stay on this for a little bit, and then we're going to get into all that happened during last night's game.
So much.
Freddie Freeman's run, overcoming Shohei Ohtani's injury. But I want to run a theory about Dave Roberts past both of you guys, just in terms of this playoff run, which I think everybody would agree Dave Roberts did some of the best work he has done as a manager, period. And I had a thought about why. So we're going to get into that next. It's the Blue Review. Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates in New York, Greg Bergman, 710.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Congratulations, Los Angeles! World Series champions! Get to Dick's Sporting Goods for a huge selection of officially licensed Los Angeles Dodgers gear, including hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more for the whole family. So get to Dick's Sporting Goods now for the best selection of officially licensed apparel and accessories in town. We have everything you need to show off your team pride. Shop in store or online at Dicks.com. Every season starts at Dick's.
Milkshake, prime ribs, chicken and waffles. Well, I was dreaming I was dressed as all the food items at the marketplace. And now the top reasons to visit Morongo.
The marketplace makes dreams come true, so long as your dreams are of eating delicious food, not actually being the food. Duh.
Number 2.
Order your Thanksgiving feast to go starting November 4th.
And the number 1 reason.
Music Soul Child, live November 15th. Get tickets now.
Morongo, good times.
ESPN LA and Beverly Hills Orthodontics are teaming up this fall because we want to know who's smiling in SoCal. Go to ESPNLA.com and nominate who you think is making LA a better place. This can be a mentor, a teacher, a coach, a good Samaritan, a youngster who brightens your day. Tell us who's smiling and you could win some awesome prizes like sweet tickets from ESPN LA, Sonic Care electric toothbrushes, whitening treatment, and a grand prize of Invisalign from Beverly Hills Ortho. Enter now at ESPNLA.com and remember you're always smiling at Beverly Hills Orthodontics.
Hey guys, it's producer Lindsay. Listen up, sports fans. Gear up for your next game day hang with your friends. What's on the menu? Sliders, wings, chips, and salsa? Well, all your favorite game day foods go great with Stella Rosa wines, a semi-sweet and semi-sparkling wine that must be served chilled. Stella Rosa can be found at your local retailer, so remember to grab a couple bottles next time you shop. Nothing sweeter than a cold glass of Stella Rosa and watching your team compete. Please celebrate responsibly.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. At Los Angeles International Airport, changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. The LAX economy parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces, as well as hundreds of EV charging stations. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding, and in the future, the People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. For more information, go to their website, flylax.com/transforminglax. That's flylax.com/transforminglax.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist?
You don't say.
Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
The Dodgers are World Series champions, and we are live for the Southland All Morning Log. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. Powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it. We continue on 7:10 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, back to Andy and the Big CY.
We deserve this. We've been playing really good baseball for a lot of years, and everybody talks shit about 2020 and whatever, but they can't say a whole lot about it now.
Tell him, Walker Buehler.
Tell him, Walker.
Tell him, Walker Buehler, about 2024. You can tell him about 2020. You know who does not talk bleep about that championship, 2020? Joseph Normand.
That's right.
He would never do a thing like that in the 7 a.m. hour presented by the law office of Joseph Normand in an accident, call Joseph and his team at 213-747-2000, 213-747-2000, or visit normandlegal.com. Blue Review, Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates in New York, Greg Bergman, and I'd mentioned before Dave Roberts and the job that he did during this postseason. Greg Bergman wearing his number 30, his Dodger blue 30.
UCLA Bruin, Dave
That's
Roberts.
right.
Too.
Yes.
You got a little double action there.
Clap for
Former
Dave
Dodger
Roberts.
player. Former Dodger player, Dave Roberts. But this was some of the best work Dave Roberts has done as a manager, period. And entering this postseason, there had been a lot of talk about if the Dodgers don't win it all, what happens with Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts likely loses his job. There was a lot of calls, period, for Dave Roberts to lose his job. He's not the right guy, whatever. And I don't think Dave Roberts was ever truly embattled in the sense that I don't think Andrew Friedman and the Brain Trust have ever wanted to get rid of Dave Roberts.
No, they didn't.
But if he had lost, if the Dodgers had lost in the first round against San Diego or in the NLCS against the Mets, like they get waxed, I think Andrew Friedman and the Brain Trust may have been aware that sometimes you have to sacrifice somebody.
You need a new voice.
That's the way this thing works. Fair or not, logical or not, maybe right thing to do or not. Sometimes it happens like that scene in Succession. Remember when they were on the yacht and they're figuring out the Waystar scandal?
Yep.
And Logan Roy says, I'm going to need a skull. And everybody at that table knows the actual skull in a fair world would be Logan Roy's.
Yeah, but that's not happening.
Right. They all know that's not going to happen. And Dave Roberts has been in this game long enough to know fair ain't got nothing to do with it sometimes. And I think he was likely aware if we go out early, it's going to be me. And with that in mind, I wonder how much Dave Roberts this time around was following just all of his instincts, like all of his baseball instincts, all of his baseball feel, all of his baseball knowledge, just saying, you know what? If I'm going to end up losing my job, I'm going to lose my job doing it my way.
So for the most part, and CY, I don't know if you agree with it, you were at every single game, but if for years past, Dave Roberts would let a guy just sit out there and die, basically, and not go out and get them. But he did the opposite this year. He went out and got, remember, I think it was game 3, two, actually. Michael Kopech was not pitching very well. Or was it even one? He was not pitching very well. And he went out there and he said, all right, you don't got it. I'm going to go get Blake Trinan. Blake Trinan, you got to get me 2 innings. Go through 2 innings to get this through for me. And that's not something he would normally do. When there's times when it was time to leave a guy out there, he left him out there. But if he had a quicker hook than he did in years past. And that was why it was so weird in last night's game. He let Jack Flaherty go 2 extra batters longer than I thought he was going to because you didn't really have a lot of guys. But it felt like the Yu Darvish year in 2017 where he just let him out there for way too long and they ended up losing all of it. But this year was different. When he was out there, he made sure to get guys before they were a mess. Consistently, before innings ended, he would bring them out, bring another guy in, let that guy go out and start the next inning. That was different.
I just wonder if the circumstances of, I'm sure Dave Roberts knew what was potentially at stake for him, and you just think to yourself, you know what, you can't fire me twice. So if I'm gonna get fired, I am doing everything my way. And we may have just seen the best version of Dave Roberts, in part because he was either empowered to be the best version of himself, or he just empowered himself to be the best version of himself.
Well, here's what I'm going to say to that, and I think we kind of fetishize pitching changes as sort of like the most important thing a manager ever does. But I do think that the difference this year with what Dave had to deal with was he had a limited roster in terms of what he was doing. I mean, part of the job here was legitimate managing and not just what a lot of people like to call strategizing. And so when you think about how they were setting things up, not just from a batter-to-batter standpoint, but from a game-to-game standpoint, is how he was going to deal with how do you manage a guy like a Yamamoto who's got a longer rest in a situation when you've got series that are shifting in terms of their length and their time, and what do you do if somebody goes wrong? They were more medium decisions to me that were important here than there were there were big time ones in games, and that helped him out with his in-game decision making, if that makes sense. It's sort of like if you go and put gas in your car the night before when you go to sleep, you don't wake up in the morning saying, oh dang it, I got to go to the gas station before I go to work, and you're scrambling because you forgot that the traffic was going to be there. Like, there were setups to how they managed all of this that I'm willing to credit Dave with, and a lot of people like to think that this front office is more responsible for certain parts of those decisions than others. But Dave is the guy that knows the team. And the simple way to figure that out is by asking the guys on the team. They talk about it all the time, about how what Dave does well is put them in positions to succeed. Whether or not they necessarily live up to it is a different matter. And this season, different than what you're talking about, Greg, I think, is that when you're forced, literally from a man management standpoint, to say, this guy's got to go because we just don't have enough guys, that's a different decision-making calculus than it is, who do I think can do this in this moment? He managed to do both this postseason. And that's, I think, a testament to just how well he knows his roster and also how long he's been in the league. There's a certain element of experience that came with a lot of this where you thought, oh, right, Dave's pressing on something that's a lot more than just what, sort of the average person who's watching a baseball game thinks or knows, and it really showed up. And I will always credit Dave with a couple of different things. Number one is, again, his relatability to players. Dave was obviously a famous player in the context of he was very famous for one thing, but people knew who he was as a ball player, but also he's not the type like, I don't know, let's just say an Aaron Boone, who's going to let his guys get away with any and everything all the time. The reason why the Yanks were throwing the ball all around the yard last night is because they've been doing it all season. And Boone says nothing, just a hand wave. Dave is a guy that has some level of accountability with people, not just those on the bump, that I think showed up, and he balances that well with the personalities that he can manage. And yeah, the pitch-to-pitch stuff, the batter-to-batter things are one thing. But, again, I just want to stress this in terms of what his strength is based on what I've seen covering the bigs for a while is it ain't just pressing buttons. He is a literal manager.
Yep.
And that is something that I think, as in a world of analytics and Rapsodos and all this other stuff, people think that the value of the position is much lower than it actually is from a numbers-to-numbers standpoint in the money ball of all of it. When you've got a guy like Dave, you realize what the human touch provides. And that was huge this postseason.
It can't be. You're right, and you can't be understated how much it is that it worked. Every button he pressed worked. Maybe he did the exact same things in years past, but they just didn't work. They didn't. Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman go 1 for 22 or 2 for 22, whatever it happens to be.
Remember, none of the buttons include guy play better.
Right.
Like Dave Roberts can't press the Mookie Betts play better button. So Freddie Freeman played better button.
Every move that he made worked, and that's what made this all possible. And also, you talked a little bit about the defense. That was such a huge thing that for Andrew Friedman and the guys to go out and make sure we have the best defensive team we possibly could. So taking out Teoscar Hernandez at the right time and put CT3 into left field, or to mix and match and have. They went out and got Kiermaier. He wasn't on this roster, but they got Kiermaier because they wanted somebody to be able to play defense at center field.
They wanted a guy like Tommy Edman.
Exactly.
Kike, Tommy you can put all over the field.
Tommy Edman, a guy that can play shortstop and center field, the two most important positions on the field, arguably, and especially on defense. So they made sure they had the right guys in the right places, so they didn't have those mess ups that the Yankees had. And by the way, have you ever seen a team fall apart more horrifically than the Yankees did in the fifth inning? That was some of the most ridiculous things I've ever. Garrett Cole forgot to run to first base. That's how bad it happened.
He must be livid about the idea of 5 unearned runs, except one of the people he has to be livid at is himself.
Yeah, it was no runs would have scored if he would have ran to first base. That is what you do
right,
from
but I will say
day one.
this, Greg. I will say this. All of the mistakes that were made by the Yankees were pressure-based mistakes. That was what was happening. And I know that, Mookie Betts grounding a ball to the first baseman doesn't feel like a pressure-based mistake until you think back to, 2020, when Mookie Betts' base running was a major problem. When you see that guy running down the line, you make panic decisions.
Yep.
In Garrett Cole, that split second in which you think, oh, my God, is he going to get him? Am I going to get him? Guess what? Nobody's going to get him. That's the kind of thing that pressure puts on you. And when you think about that ball that Volpe threw and he bounced to –
That was Kike. That was all Kike.
Jazz Chisholm at third. That's because the runner's coming down. They were mistakes. but they weren't mistakes that just happened completely out of nowhere. And I think that's where the aggressiveness of this team, in terms of their ability to believe in themselves, was huge. They made you make a play. And that is where Dave, once again, comes into me, because you can play the numbers. You can do all the stuff. Booney, for example, never gets a guy over. They never do anything other than try to walk and hit homers. Dave is making the other team play baseball because he knows he's got guys that can do it well, and it creates situations like what we found. Guys are balking in the 8th inning or whatever, and you're getting daggone catcher interference calls. That cannot happen.
That was
But that's
crazy.
what happens when you're under pressure.
That
and a
was
good team is coming up.
crazy.
All
That
pressure.
was awful.
But I got to get out of here, boys. Enjoy the rest of the Blue Review morning special.
All right. Greg Bergman in that Doc jersey.
Yeah, in the Doc
He,
jersey.
he is wearing that thing proudly, happily,
Absolutely.
with the biggest
With
smile
pride.
on
See you,
his
boys.
face that you can imagine.
Later,
877-710 ESPN. If you want to weigh in, coming up next, Clinton Yates. You had reminded me that you wanted to tell a story about what it was like in the Yankees clubhouse. I imagine that everybody listening right now would love to hear what it was like in that Yankees clubhouse. We're going to get to that next. Blue Review, Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates in New York, 710 ESPN.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
Attention football fans, the season's heating up, and that means it's time for jaw-dropping plays, spectacular touchdowns, and memories that'll last a lifetime. So if you're looking to grab the best seats for all the excitement, Vivid Seats is your go-to playmaker. With an incredible selection of tickets and a game-changing rewards program, Vivid Seats is your ticket to every thrilling moment. Don't miss out. Experience it live with Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Good morning. You're starting your day with the new ESPN Radio Morning Show, Unsportsmanlike, with me, Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman. And this is the Normand Legal 7 a.m. hour on 710. Let Joe and his trusted team get you what you deserve. Visit normandlegal.com or call 1-800-550-9816. That's 1-800-550-9816.
At Hyundai, we make a big deal about the little things, like the little fact that 9 Hyundai vehicles have earned IIHS Top Safety Picks this year, and offering a little thing called America's Best Warranty, because delivering safety and quality, pretty big deal. Visit your nearest Hyundai dealer today. Hyundai, there's joy in every journey.
Get 1.99% APR for 60 months on the Hyundai Tucson and Tucson Hybrid. See your SoCal Hyundai dealer. Offers end October 31st. Call 714-568-7676 for details.
Hey, it's Mace here. Wait until you experience the NBA at the hottest, most amazing venue in LA. That is Cosm in Inglewood. It's called Immersive Shared Reality. It will look and feel like you are courtside. If you want to be at Cosm for live NBA action, go to Cosm.com. That's COSM.com. Use code ESPNLA. Get 20% off any NBA game in November. Do not wait. Tickets go fast. Go to Cosm.com. That's COSM.com.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And we are live for the Southland all morning long. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. We continue on 7:10 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, back to Andy and the Big CY.
Luke Weaver to Mookie Betts. Cracked in the air to deep center field. Judge retreats. He'll make the grab, but the Dodgers have come all the way back and taken the lead in Game 5.
If you are the type who believes in numerology, there were a couple things in last night's game that I thought were pretty cool if you're into this sort of stuff. Dodgers have been down 5-0 in the 5th inning. That 5th inning, they score 5 runs. Part of that rally, Freddie Freeman, number 5, your World Series MVP. The 8th inning, the Dodgers come back from being down a run. That 8th inning secures the 8th championship in Dodger franchise history.
That's not bad.
And
that's not bad.
It was also a 7-6 win. So 6, 7, 8.
Hey.
There you go.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
I thought you were going to get into like Galaxy Brain Kobe levels of numerology, which is just a whole other. That's a class that I will never pass in my life because it's just too good.
Well, here was the dirty little secret. As somebody who covered Kobe for 10 years and saw his entire career close up. I probably watched 80 to 85% of all the games Kobe played. When you were that great and played for so long and were part of so many different records, everything can be a number. Like the numerology for Kobe, the dirty little secret of it, incredibly simple to do. Like you can come up
that
with
was an aside. That was an
works.
aside. But, okay, so first of all, can we let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and let us bring up once again the list of accountability. This is important to me. I haven't heard from Morales. I don't see any bobbleheads getting smashed. I saw him drinking tequila mandala on IG Live last night.
Smoking
That's
a cigar?
all I saw. Okay, and the cigar. But let us not forget about the doubting Thomases, as they say, of one Dave Roberts. And that's only important because, again, I wrote a column last week about this, which is I feel that the mindset of a lot of Dodgers fans of if we don't win, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. You've really robbed yourself of a large part of the experience. This guy's the most winning manager in baseball, Andy. He's got 4 pennants.
I know.
And you've got 2 titles. Like, that's not anything to slouch at. And so I'm just really happy for Dodgers fans who, at the very least, enjoyed the teams that they've had over the last whatever amount of years because they're in the postseason every single season. And, to see the look on Dave's face, and this gets to what, you tease, to see the look on Dave's face, oh, yeah, he was smug as hell. He was looking at people like, I told you so. I didn't have anything to prove to you either way, but reminder, I've done it once. I'll do it again. And that's his 3rd total ring, 1 as a player and 2 as a manager. And, there's something about that when you see a guy who never gave up faith in themselves actually come through and they're not whack about it. Like, it's a cool feeling. That said, when did I see this happen, AK? Well, you asked me how the Yankees clubhouse was last night. I don't know because I never went in. You know why I didn't go in? They kept it closed for 45 effing minutes after the game. You don't do that. And that's how affected this team was. It was a problem. Booney came out and looked like he'd been crying, which is understandable, but it was a procedural issue, Andy, and you've done this job. You know that little things like that don't necessarily say everything, but it was one of those deals where you thought to myself, my goodness, we're just going to completely blow through protocol of all levels because you guys lost to the Dodgers, a team that a lot of people thought was a better team anyway. They were shooketh, as the internet would say.
I mean, it's not just that they lost, though, I imagine. Because, look, once they were down 3-0, I'm sure that they were going to try their best to get through this thing. I would imagine they did not give up, but in the back of their heads, the doubt is there. Like, they know the odds that have to be overcome are astronomical. Like, they are aware of this. So it's not just that they lost, it's that they fell apart in that game. They lost a game that was 100% winnable for them. Like, the Dodgers, make no mistake, had to fight their way through this game. Like, the Dodgers earned this victory, but they were given an astonishing amount of favors by the Yankees in a game where the Yankees had to be at their absolute best, because the worst thing that happens to the Dodgers is they go back up 3-2, having to win just one game at home. That's the worst thing that happens to them. With a day to rest and their bullpen to reset, the Yankees have to be at their best, and they fell apart with a lead. They fell apart with a big lead. Unreal.
I think part of the psychology in that, Andy, though, is that exactly what you said, but taken to another level, kind of microwave it. When you know you've got to play a perfect baseball game and you're playing a better team, that's when things tend to fall apart, even when you're at home and even in a situation like the World Series. Having their backs up against the wall was just almost even happenstance. But that's the issue with how good this Dodgers team is from a talent level top to bottom. That's the issue with how well they can execute doing all sorts of types of different things. It's not just the bloop and the blast. It's not just squeezing the strike zone from having good plate approaches. It is moving a runner over every once in a while. What do you know? They sacrificed bunted 10 times in the regular season. In the NLCS, in one game, they did it twice. Do you know what that does to your analytics guys? Do you understand the frenzy that puts some of these dorks in when you start going outside of regular protocol and just playing baseball like a normal person that can see the baseball in front of you? It's insane. And so the Yanks know all of that stuff going in, which is that even with all of the talent, even with all the things you do, you still got to execute on your end. And if you don't, you're gonna lose. That's what happened. And so when they were finally under the pressure at home, backs against the wall, when they'd gotten one and kind of shot their load, rather, sorry, say the wrong words here. If you got to dump that, you got to dump that. In the game before, 11 runs. 11 runs was going to be all the 11 runs I thought they were going to get for the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dang, they're going to want to save some of those because they don't play good enough situational baseball in order to be able to rely on being able to put up that many tallies. And so, yeah, I get it. The Yanks fell apart. But they fell apart because they were facing a good team that's well-disciplined and knows how to play situational baseball. It is really hard to account for all three of those things in any given series. Never mind, specifically this opponent. They got beat by a better team, and they got outmanaged by a better manager. That happens. That is one thing I want to give this franchise a ton of credit for, is that at the end of the day, locker rooms, clubhouses closed or not, you could tell the Dodgers are simply better at this. And it's an example of what happens when you establish a culture, you try to execute it all the way through, and you don't just try to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
877-710-ESPN if you want to weigh in. Let's take a call right now. Peter in Ontario. You're on the Blue Review. What's up, Peter?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing? How you guys doing today?
Good morning.
Awesome. Good morning. Hey, wanted to make 3 quick points. Dave Roberts, I've been one of those Dave Roberts bashers, I'm going to be honest. I want to give him his flowers. He did an amazing job managing that team, the pitching staff, and just the whole series and the whole playoffs. So definitely I eat my words on that. And then Walker Buehler, another guy that nobody even wanted him on the roster, playoff roster. And look at him. He was amazing. So we got to sign Teoscar Hernandez back. He's a really good player, and I know he's going to command a lot of money, but definitely deserves a big contract from us. Anyways, your thoughts, guys?
To quote Teddy G and Rounders, pay that man his money.
Pay that man his money.
Pay that man his money. Teoscar, I mean, beyond the performance, that's a dude you want in your clubhouse. Everybody loves Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, you can just tell.
Uncle Scar was one of those guys that when you make the yearbook like they used to do of seasons and you have like not just somebody on the front, but you have like that opening awkward scene where things change or whatever. Uncle Scar won the home run derby this year, y'all. We remember because we were there. And the Dodgers were not even, his teammates weren't even, they had other business to handle. And this guy managed to win it even when his own teammates had left, and that didn't upchuck the entire season. Just like, I don't know, a ridiculous gambling scandal didn't burn everything to the ground in the beginning of this year. There's so much that happened. The yearbook is crazy on the Dodgers in 2024.
Speaking of that, one of my favorite tweets that I got last night, as all the frenzy was going on, all the craziness, came from Baller P. This championship begs the question, does Ipe get a ring? He was there for the preseason and the first game of the Korea season.
Don't hide from it, Jorge. Don't hide from it. You could go so far as to say if you wanted to spin it, it was a galvanizing moment like none other for this team because no other team has faced anything like this. And I'm being dead serious about that. They had to figure out, what are you here for, dude? Are you here to win, or are we here for this nonsense? They got that guy out of town, Diamond Bar's finest, Ipe, and they said, let's play some baseball, and they actually got it.
You know what, though? I mean, I've said this before, but I'm being serious about it. In a weird way, I think this is the best thing that could have ever happened to Shohei Ohtani because, he's obviously financially whole and then some. Like, he's going to be able to get through this. It's not like he was a Bernie Madoff victim and lost all of his.
Right. He's not in the poorhouse.
Right. Shohei Ohtani is going to be just fine. But he had been so insulated, as it turns out, manipulated into that insulation and vulnerable for something like this. With Ipe gone, it seemed like Ohtani was put in a position where he was going to have to interact more with his teammates. Like, he was going to have to be more one of the guys, and he seemed to enjoy it. Like, Ohtani seemed to really enjoy being less off to the side. Like, it started, I think, early with Uncle Scar and, teaching him the Spanish and bringing him out of that shell a little bit. But in a weird way, I think this whole scandal for Ohtani,
Buenos dias.
especially because he was also able to perform at a historic level, this was a blessing in disguise for him. I really
It was a
believe
turning
that.
point on his career as a star in America because it was one of those things that came right up full circle with what everybody else knows of the world of sports, but something that he had never been a part of. There's a certain amount of mystery to guys that come from faraway lands, just using kind of a flippant term here, where you think, oh, I wonder what they do in their spare time. Oh, what's going on in their lives? I mean, I remember being at that press conference where he was introduced, and all the American journalists were clamoring to ask the one question, which is, what's the name of your daggone dog? And I was mad that I wasn't the one who did it. There was all of this, like, up in the air stuff about who he was and what he was like that I think – you're right. The Ipe situation humanized him in a way that not only maybe helped him, but I think it helped a lot of regular sports fans kind of understand him a little bit better, which I think ultimately helped him connect with, just everything that's happening with his life. I mean, you're right. The secrecy was an issue, bro. People were like, why does this guy never talk? Like, what's going on? And the Angels sort of allowed that, but with the Dodgers, it was never going to work if something didn't change. It was unfortunate. And I even said at the time, this could detonate the season because that was entirely possible. You never know. Some guys lose their edge with whatever they've got going on in their private lives, and all of a sudden they're never the same person. But, I'll credit the team, as in the guys in the locker room. I'll credit the franchise with sort of letting him cook on that and really trusting him to just kind of be himself, and ultimately it was going to work. And, man, I got to say, quickly, last night, AK, I asked him a question. This man stared into my eyes while I asked the question, while he replied, while the translator replied as well. Did not break gaze, full focus. I was like, I am a different person now. Ohtani has looked through my soul with all the sincerity of a man who is happy to be a World Series champion. I was very glad to be there.
Okay, speaking of Ohtani, coming up next, I'm going to share a text that I sent to Travis Rogers during the game that speaks to just how much adversity the Dodgers played through. For all the talk about the money and their payroll and the stars, how much adversity they actually had to deal with during this series to ultimately come out on top. That's coming up next. Also, Marcus Grant, we're going to track down around 8:15. This is the Blue Review. Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates, 710 ESPN.
Buenos dias.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Congratulations, Los Angeles! World Series champions. Get to Dick's Sporting Goods for a huge selection of officially licensed Los Angeles Dodgers gear, including hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more for the whole family. So get to Dick's Sporting Goods now for the best selection of officially licensed apparel and accessories in town. We have everything you need to show off your team pride. Shop in store or online at Dicks.com. Every season starts at Dick's.
Attention football fans, the season's heating up, and that means it's time for jaw-dropping plays, spectacular touchdowns, and memories that'll last a lifetime. So if you're looking to grab the best seats for all the excitement, Vivid Seats is your go-to playmaker. With an incredible selection of tickets and a game-changing rewards program, Vivid Seats is your ticket to every thrilling moment. Don't miss out. Experience it live with Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Fresh off a Thursday night football win over the Minnesota Vikings, the Rams will be back for another prime-time matchup under the lights from Monday Night Football as they take on the Miami Dolphins on November 11th. Bring the energy and pack the Rams house. You don't want to miss this electric prime-time matchup. Tickets are on sale now at therams.com/MIA. Again, that is therams.com/MIA to watch your LA Rams face off against the Miami Dolphins November 11th at SoFi Stadium. See you at the Rams house.
One of the greatest pop and R&B groups that defined a generation. Belle Biv DeVoe. Live in concert. Saturday, December 14th at Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. Belle Biv DeVoe. With special guest, Rev Run. Tickets on sale now at FantasySpringsResort.com. Belle Biv DeVoe. Live.
Be sure to listen to Rams Super Bowl champion DeMarco Farr every Monday in the 9 a.m. hour on his new show, The Travis and DeMarco Show. He's going to give you his best of from the whole football weekend. And you know, when DeMarco serves up a best of, you know it means something. Don't miss it. They've got their best of the weekend, plus your chance to win a Fantasy Springs weekend getaway prize pack with your best of. That's Mondays in the 9 a.m. hour on the Travis and DeMarco Show on 710 ESPN. Made possible by Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. Escape the everyday at Fantasy Springs Resort Casino, just minutes from Palm Springs.
Score a win with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup options. Amazon Pickup is a convenient and secure way to collect your Amazon packages from locations that are near you. Choose an Amazon locker or counter. Whether you're hustling between home, work, or your usual game day spots, grab your packages on your schedule. Amazon Pickup is the worry-free option for the times when home delivery isn't ideal. To find your nearest Amazon Pickup location, go to amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
We ask Californians why they don't vote. And the number one reason? They feel their vote doesn't count. But nothing could be further from the truth. Your vote isn't just a piece of paper. It's a powerful tool that shapes the world around you. And in turn, your health. Your health is way more than just diet and exercise. It's the air you breathe, the food, green spaces, and jobs available in your neighborhood, and your access to quality health care. You have a say in all of this. When you cast your ballot, you're voting for cleaner air, better access to nutritious food, more green spaces, good jobs and reduced stress, quality schools, and healthcare that's accessible and affordable for all. Your elected officials determine funding, pass laws, and shape policies that influence your health and the health of your entire community. The voting period has already begun and ends November 5th. For more information on how your vote impacts your health, visit myvotemyhealth.org.
The Dodgers are World Series champions, and we are live for the Southland All Morning Log. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. Powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it. We continue on 7:10 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, back to Andy and the Big CY.
With a heating up Judge, who settles under this ball, but then drops it. Can Hernandez get to the bag before the throw? He does. On a routine play, Aaron Judge just flubs it in center field, and the Dodgers catch a huge break right there.
Absolutely insane meltdown by the Yankees in the fifth inning, part of what fueled the Dodgers' eventual 7-6 comeback in Game 5, securing the 8th championship in this franchise's history. Your 2024 World Series champions, Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates, joining in New York. He was there witnessing it live. And Clinton, we were talking earlier about how the Dodgers really overcame a lot of adversity during this season, during these playoffs, for all the talk about the money and the stars on this team. They had to work and grind their way to this victory. This is how much the Dodgers had to overcome, or at least the obstacles they were dealing with, like the point that it reached. During the 8th inning, where the Dodgers ultimately made that comeback, they had the sac flies that eventually tied the game and eventually go ahead 7-6. Ohtani, who is dealing with this shoulder subluxation, where
that's a whole other story that we can get into later. But yeah,
he can barely swing a bat. Like, he can barely move that shoulder. He is so clearly in pain and so clearly a shell of himself. He comes up in that 8th inning. And at that point, what the Dodgers need more than anything, with men on base late in the game, like, you don't know if you're going to have this opportunity again. They need a ball that at minimum is hit into the outfield, far enough that you can get those sacrifices. I actually texted Travis during the 8th inning, and I said, would you consider pinch hitting for Ohtani? And he said no, because ultimately he would rather have a bad at-bat from Ohtani than whoever else would have come up there. And I get that. But the idea that you would even, at least I would even, consider the thought of pinch hitting for Ohtani, just knowing they need outfield hits, and I'm not sure he is capable. Shohei Ohtani, Mr. Power, Mr. Home Run, Mr. 50-50 Club, I'm not sure he can hit a ball into the outfield right now. Like, that to me just encapsulates the stuff that the Dodgers ultimately overcame during these playoffs. Like, they truly earned this championship.
This is actually two separate discussions. Quickly, AK, number one, I would have absolutely been pitch hitting for Ohtani. I don't even think that was that hard of a decision. A lot of people around this game were like, this dude shouldn't be in this game to begin with. All he's doing is being a decoy. That's a separate matter. That said, I still kind of can't believe he powered through it. And I still am rather impressed with the fact that he had enough cojones, for lack of a better term, to just stand up there and say, I dare you. Mm-hmm. I dare you to try to throw it past me. I don't care if you can see my shoulder hanging out of my jersey. You don't have, as they say in Major League 2, enough hair on your ass to throw me the fastball. You know what I'm saying? And he was challenging guys and making them actually do it. That, to me, was the most extremely impressive part about that, is that he posted, as they say. And, yeah, they went through so much this year. I mean, the injuries alone were the kind of thing that most teams do not recover from. The situation with their pitching staff, between Glasnow, between everything that happened with May, once again, dealing with the Clayton Kershaw situation. By the way, can we talk about Clayton Kershaw running around the field with his belly out? That was awesome. If you didn't see that clip, go to my IG.
Dad Bob.
It's in my stories.
Dad Bob,
that was
baby.
fantastic. But, yeah, like, they dealt with so much stuff. And Ohtani is a part of it. But to your question with Travis, there was real talk that he probably shouldn't even been playing any one of these games. And, you know, it's another decision that Dave made that I think ultimately paid off. Now, the part that the AB you're talking about, he ended up getting that catcher's interference call on a bit of a cheeky play. Kind of threw the bat out there, got a little glove with it. I was like, oh, look at this guy finding a way to get on base in a key moment when he can barely get the bat around. I'm not going to call that a veteran maneuver, but it worked. Yes, there were so many different parts about this game, and that particular plate appearance, if you want to call it that, because it was an error, was really something. I mean, I did not know what to come up with, but that can't happen if you're the Yankees. And there were like 5 of those. Well, and you have that many that can't happen in a series, never mind one game, you're probably going to lose.
I mean, look, we're gonna go in a sec and come back. Marcus Grant will be with us in about 15 minutes or so. Mm-hmm. Putting this in perspective, the first at-bat Ohtani got with everybody knowing about that shoulder, I believe he walked.
Like 4-pitch walk at that, yes. AK.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a walk. It was a 4-pitch walk because man was so rattled he didn't know what was going to happen.
That is intimidation.
That's the game you play.
That is intimidation. That's why he's Shohei Ohtani. All right, coming up, I want to talk about Freddie Freeman and just everything he achieved and why you have to be so happy in particular for this dude ending up the World Series MVP. Going to hear from Marcus Grant in about 15 minutes. Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates, Blue Review, 710 ESPN.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
All right, everybody. Sedano and Cap here. And George, let's talk to everybody about Prize Picks, where you and me are freaking geniuses, and that's why we're killing it.
We are crushing it, Cappy. And by the way, you can too. You can win as much as up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks.
But let me tell you something right now. When you download the Prize Picks app and you use our code Cappy, K-A-P-P-Y, you make your first play at $5, they hit you with an instant $50 bonus. It doesn't matter if you win the play or you lose the play. A $5 play turns into a $50 bonus.
Oh, my God. It's amazing. They're giving you free money, for God's sake. And by the way, it's the best way to get action in sports in over 30 states, including, obviously, this one here in California.
So, George, I want everybody to download the Prize Picks app and use our code Cappy, K-A-P-P-Y, and let's win.
Yeah, absolutely. And Prize Picks puts its members first. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Man, when your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. And you know where you can do it? Only on Prize Picks.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737.
Congratulations, Los Angeles! World Series champions! Get to Dick's Sporting Goods for a huge selection of officially licensed Los Angeles Dodgers gear, including hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more for the whole family. So get to Dick's Sporting Goods now for the best selection of officially licensed apparel and accessories in town. We have everything you need to show off your team pride. Shop in store or online at Dicks.com. Every season starts at Dick's.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
Good morning.
And good morning. Happy Halloween and happy Dodgers World Series Day. The Dodgers are world champions. Hit the sound.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
That's Fox TV on the call. Last night in the Bronx, the Dodgers closed out those stinking Yankees for a 4-1 series victory. We are live for the Southland this morning. Andy Kamenetsky, the Big CY, Clinton Yates live from New York, and I believe Greg Berman's running around too celebrating. And producer Jorge, the social team. Let's do it. The Blue Review Morning Show is on this Thursday as we celebrate a world championship for the city of LA, Jack. Listen to us on 710 a.m. on the all-new ESPN LA app and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. The Blue Review Morning Show made possible this morning by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's and powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it.
It's time for the Blue Review. The Blue Review with Bergman and team.
The Blue Review Morning Show is on. Here's Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates.
The Dodgers are your World Series champions, kids. 2024 Game 5, 7-6 win over the Yankees. It is in the books. We're going to get to Freddie Freeman in just a second. We're going to talk with Marcus Grant in about 10 minutes, Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates in New York. But take a couple calls first. Let's go to Mitchell. What's up, Mitchell? Mitchell? All right, let's go to Brian. Brian, do better than Mitchell.
Situation. I was going to say, let's get off Mitchell.
Do better than Mitchell, Brian. Brian, there was no standard for you to clear.
The callers are playing Yankees baseball right now.
Oh my God. Like,
come on, boys.
Can one of these
not talking to y'all, talking to the callers. Get after it, y'all. This is ridiculous.
One of you callers just remember to cover first base or not to ball?
Exactly.
That's all we're asking.
The equivalent here is when somebody says hello, can you reply? That is the equivalent in this scenario. Sidebar, quickly, while we're waiting for somebody to make a decent phone call, I'm staying at the same hotel that the Dodgers families are staying at, which is made for a really fun environment all over the week and just like seeing what people do. For those who don't know, excuse me, one of the best parts about covering sports is not just like the actual games. It's like everything that happens around it, you know? And so all the things that you get to see and sort of be a part of that are completely unrelated to what happens between the lines are always hilarious to see. So that's been a good time so far this week. It's been very fun.
Yeah, it is. You forget sometimes just because the season is so long, it can all blend together after a while. It becomes like one big baseball game. But, like, these guys are away. It really is. I mean, baseball is a really unique animal to cover because it is so long. And, like, every game both signifies something and means absolutely nothing at the same time. And I think it's also what, in a lot of ways, makes baseball a really special championship to win, just because mentally it is such a grind to overcome. Hold on. We rarely do this.
We're on 2 strikes. This is an 0-2 count.
We are going
Pitcher's pitch right
We
here.
are going to give Mitchell another shot at this.
What?
Mitch in Jersey. Let's do this.
How you guys doing? I apologize. Maybe I should go back to school. It wouldn't hurt me, right?
No problem.
I hope the Dodgers could sign. I wonder if they could have been working during the season. Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, he had a great year. He's only 31. And the insult to the Yankees, little salt on the wound there. Okay, let's go after Soto. We're getting back all these pitchers. We're missing 4 stars for this World Series. Couldn't believe how Hitton really carried this team. What do you think? And thanks for taking my call.
It's pretty amazing. By the way, shocker that Mitch from New Jersey, I could not hear it at all in his voice.
Walking here.
He pulled it together. Leave him alone. All right. He managed to advance the runner. That was a productive out, as we say in the baseball world.
Believe he's part of the
Soto's
cement
way
business.
too much money. Soto's gonna be another $500 million guy. There's no world. I mean, maybe there's not no world, but I would be stunned if the Dodgers wanted to bring on another contract of that heft with another outfielder. You know, like there's just too many people. There's a certain crowd of yes. If there was no money, if there was all the money in the world, AK, and there was no sort of implication to any of that, yes, bring Soto on would be fantastic, and you'd have I don't even know. You'd have a roster the likes of which had egos and payrolls and paychecks that were just astronomical. But I don't see Soto being that kind of guy. You know, Soto had a ring before he ever got to the Yankees. You know how I know? They beat the Dodgers on the way there. He doesn't need to join some team just for the sake of saying he was on a good team. I think he's the guy that wants to be the cornerstone of a franchise, and he wouldn't be that with the Dodgers.
Real quick, let's go to Christopher in Florence. You're on the Blue Review with Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates. What's up, Christopher?
Hey, good morning, guys. Go LA. What an amazing championship to watch since spring training. I just wanted to bring up with you guys how championships are so important when we talk about legacy. Of course, you know, Shohei, Kershaw, Betts, automatic Hall of Famers after first championship for Shohei, second for Kershaw, third for Betts. But let's talk about how Dave Roberts went from is his job in jeopardy all the way to, man, 2-time world champion. I think the Hall of Fame is almost automatic for him now. What do you guys think?
Clinton, you're the better
I think it's time for you to
me.
bring up the list of people who deserve Dave Roberts. AK, let's go through it. Now's the time. Reset it.
I promised I would limit it to one. I have already said it.
No, I don't care. 1 an hour. I want another one.
The ones who don't deserve? The ones who do not deserve
Yes,
Dave Roberts.
who do not
Or how
deserve
about
Dave.
this? How about this? We could go more positive. The folks who deserve Dave Roberts. Those who deserve Dave Roberts at this station. That's me. It's Clinton Yates. And that is John Ireland. John Ireland has been very consistently on the train of Dave Roberts is not the problem. Who are you going to replace him with? Be careful what you wish for. So rather than stew in the negative, and Sedano, George Sedano deserves Dave Roberts. George Sedano has been very consistent on this. Also, you don't hear from him often, but I know what he says. My brother Brian deserves Dave Roberts.
Is BK about to make an appearance?
Brian deserves Dave Roberts. I know how he's felt about this, and I know he's felt that the idea of canning Dave Roberts would have been absolutely insane. So we'll stick with the positive. These are the folks who deserve
no, you can stick with the
Dave
positive.
Roberts.
To that point, people who did not deserve Dave Roberts.
This is Clinton
Number
saying
one,
it now.
Christopher Morales out here breaking bobbleheads and making a month-long bit of it. Fantastic bit. You were wrong. Greg Bergman's on the edge here because Bergman kept trying to find a lot of reasons why if he's got to go, he's got to go, which is always an indication that maybe you don't have a desire for him to be there, but Greg's a happy man today, so I'm happy for him. Mason, obviously, on the do not deserve list, for sure, and I'm throwing Cappy on the do not deserve list just because he was probably rooting for the Padres anyway, so, you know, it is what it is. I'm only half joking, but I just want accountability is a factor for me.
You are forgetting one Jorge Barones.
I got to get the door. Hang on.
You are forgetting one Jorge Barones.
I was going to say, no, Jorge keeps me on the air so he can skate when it comes to this
Coming
level
up
of
next,
accountability.
somebody that, if memory serves, I believe does deserve Dave Roberts, but we will get honest confirmation from Marcus Grant whether or not he deserves Dave Roberts. That is coming up next. Blue Review, 710 ESPN.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Congratulations, Los Angeles! World Series champions! Get to Dick's Sporting Goods for a huge selection of officially licensed Los Angeles Dodgers gear, including hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more for the whole family. So get to Dick's Sporting Goods now for the best selection of officially licensed apparel and accessories in town. We have everything you need to show off your team pride. Shop in store or online at Dicks.com. Every season starts at Dick's.
Gear up and get out to Kelsey's at Pachanga, the top spot in the Temecula Valley to watch all the Monday Night Football action. Dozens of TVs means all your favorite games, plus a M&F food menu fit for the greatest fans. Sliders, loaded tater tots, pulled pork pizza, and a lot more. Plus, you'll find beers on tap and incredible craft cocktails at Kelsey's. Visit Pachanga.com and follow at Pachanga Casino on Instagram for info about special and exclusive NFL team appearances. We'll see you at Kelsey's at Pachanga.
Did you know that at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, the game starts before your baby even arrives? Their Fetal and Neonatal Institute is a lifeline for over 3,000 high-risk babies and expectant mothers every year. Their expert fetal care team works with families even before birth, making sure your baby gets the best start possible. And for newborns needing intensive care, their Level 4 NICU is the MVP when it comes to caring for the most complex cases. At CHLA, you'll have a powerhouse team of specialists ready from day one and in your corner every step of the way.
Hey guys, it's Cappy here, and I want to talk about my friend Avner Gatt, a public adjuster. Now, many of you guys have asked me, why Avner Gatt? What makes his team so unique at handling insurance claims? So let me tell you something. I've been working with Avner and his team for a while. I can tell you this. Avner Gatt has a dynamic team that's highly effective and successful because these folks come from a very diverse background in the insurance industry. For example, some of them used to work for insurance companies before they joined Avner's team. Yes, they actually chose to switch sides when they realized the effectiveness of Avner's team's work. Some of them used to be in the restoration business, rebuilding homes after disasters. Some of them used to be in the contents handling business, moving homeowners' belongings to a safe place for restoration and storage. Some of them were experts in hazardous materials handling, like asbestos and lead testing. That was their daily work. And some of them were members of law firms handling bad faith claims and general business disputes. You see, diversification is the name of the game. When you are represented by Avner Gatt's team, you have the entire team's experience and know-how by your side. No one, and I mean no one, messes with Avner Gatt and his team. So call Avner Gatt right now, 818-917-5256, 818-917-5256. That's AvnerGatt.com, AVNERGAT, AvnerGatt.com. When you call him directly, Avner Gatt and his family, they take the calls themselves. Avner Gatt says, hello.
The Dodgers are World Series champions, and we are live for the Southland all morning long. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. Powered by LAX. Planning a trip out of LAX? Make parking a breeze by pre-booking with LAX official parking. Save up to 60% off drive-up rates and skip having to search for a spot. And check this out. Now until November 2nd, when you pre-book, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 to create your ultimate LA game day. Pick your favorite LA team, choose a home game, anything through 2025, and let a concierge craft a one-of-a-kind experience just for you. Book now and enter to win at parking.flylax.com. That's parking.flylax.com. Let's do it. We continue on 7:10 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, back to Andy and the Big CY.
Cole throws and a ground ball left side. Volpe will go to third and the down and another break for LA. It was going to be a tough play, but one the Yankees should make. And the bases are loaded. Two defensive mishaps for New York.
It's a play the Yankees should have made, a play the Yankees did not make, and a play that set the stage for the Dodgers to make a massive comeback in last night's Game 5 7-6 win, clinching then the World Series. And Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates, we are joined now by
what up, kiddos?
The actual co-host of the Blue Review, one Marcus Grant. who, if memory serves, and we are being totally transparent now, Marcus.
This is important, Marcus.
This is an hour of honesty. I believe Marcus Grant is on the list of those who deserves Dave Roberts. Am I correct?
Absolutely, I deserve I this whole time. My mantra from the start of the playoffs was trust Dave, and he managed the hell out of this postseason.
So what did you think in terms of, quickly, Marcus, I want to ask you, what did you think in terms of just this last game, Game 5? I don't want to say what surprised you the most, but the parts where, the Yanks fell apart. But the Dodgers did what they needed to do. Mookie had the sac fly. There were a couple other sort of interior plays. I know you as a baseball guy pay attention to this kind of stuff. What did you find that they did best in this game beyond just the obvious of taking care of mistakes, what they actually did themselves?
The moment I felt –
hello? Go ahead.
Hello?
My bad. You're back. Sorry.
Okay, great. So the moment I felt like – I'm not going to say this is the moment I thought they were going to win, but the moment I felt like they were at least going to fight back in that game, it was the top of the fourth. Because the first 3 innings, Garrett Cole looked unhittable, and there was a part of me that thought this dude really might throw a no-hitter tonight. Top of the fourth inning, Mookie leads off with a walk. He battles, and he gets a walk. Freddie Freeman follows up with that drive to left center when Judge had to make that great catch up against the wall. Then you get the Teoscar ground out, and Max Muncy's the last out, but he hits a hard line drive that goes right to Judge and is caught. They didn't get a hit in that inning. They didn't score a run in that inning, but I watched the way they had those at-bats, and that to me said, okay, they've seen something. They're not ready to lay down. And who knows, maybe they don't come back and win this game, but they're not going to roll over without a fight. And so that gave me at least a little bit of belief that they were going to try to make a game out of it. And then obviously the 5th inning happens. Look, you give any team extra outs, it's going to be a problem. You give the Dodgers 6 outs to work with, and you get Freddie Freeman back to the plate. I felt like there was no way they weren't going to get at least 3 runs that inning, and then Teo hits the double to tie it up. But I really think that 4th inning, to me, was kind of a catalyst where the Dodgers said, you know what, let's go out and let's just try to chip away at this thing, and whatever happens, happens.
Marcus, you just mentioned Freddie Freeman, and in all the different storylines talking about this World Series, we have somehow managed to not really give Freddie Freeman enough shine, just enough attention during this. How would you put just this playoff run and then especially this World Series run that Freddie Freeman had in perspective?
There was nothing like it. It would have been incredible just on its own, right? But you throw in the issue of the ankle, right? He hurts that ankle when they clinched the division title against the Padres near the end of the regular season. And, all the reports being if this were the regular season, it would have been a 4 to 6 week thing, right? That he would have gone on the IL and had to sit out. Somehow he uses the week off to be just good enough to get on the field and spent most of the playoffs just kind of as a slap hitter. Let's just put the ball in play and see what happens because he can't run. In fact, I think you mentioned it, Andy. With Freddie, at some point, there were only going to be 3 true outcomes, right? Either he hits a home run,
right,
or he walks, or he strikes out. Like there was not going to be any him legging out an infield single. But then to show up in the World Series, to just start it off with that walk-off grand slam, and just to continually terrorize the Yankee pitching staff for 5 games, and not doing it with a home run in Game 5, but just doing it with a 2-run single that really opened the floodgates. It really is one of those postseasons for the ages.
Can I just say something quickly, Andy? Is it possible that you don't deserve Freddie Freeman?
I deserve Freddie Freeman. I absolutely deserve
He was running
Freddie
the bases like a maniac. He was really good on the base pass this series. And as well as, again, he beat that play to first, which would have kept the run on the board. Also, that triple, we're putting triple in quotes from the earlier game because it was really a double that Doogie botched in left field. But, he was a genuinely good base runner beyond being able to keep it together. You know what? Andy Kamenetsky does not deserve World Series MVP.
No. I have never. Here's the qualifications for not deserving either Dave Roberts or Freddie Freeman or whoever. I never once suggested, you know what? The Dodgers could do better than Freddie Freeman. It is time that the Dodgers moved on from Freddie Freeman. I was not one of those people who entered the playoffs doubting Freddie Freeman because 2023 he didn't have his best playoffs. But like getting back to Freeman, the idea that he gutted out like this physical pain. I mean, you can tell that ankle was bothering him. I saw, I want to say it was from Alden Gonzalez's recap for ESPN of the World Series. Quote, perhaps no player embodied that better than Freeman, who sprained his right ankle on the night of the Dodgers clinched their 11th division title in 12 years, spent all month fighting through hours of treatment to step on the field. And that, by the way, that's after eventually stepping on the field from dealing with all the stuff going on with his family and a terrifying situation with his son. Like, not that
Shouts to Maximus. Yeah.
Not that I ever suspected that Dodger fans, Marcus, didn't appreciate Freddie Freeman, didn't love Freddie Freeman, but by now, like, there's going to be an attachment from Dodger fans to Freddie Freeman that is going to be up there with the attachments that they've had with any player in franchise history.
Oh, 100%. No, absolutely. I mean, well, you saw the love when he first came over, right? And, that first year was kind of tumultuous, right? I mean, him basically pining to be back in Atlanta and not really sure if LA was the place for him. And the fans embraced him nonetheless. And now to go through this, everything you mentioned, the obviously the thing with Max and his health scare, just the injuries that sort of, the broken finger, the ankle, all that kind of stuff. And for the fans to be there to just support him, to put their arms around him figuratively, the team to put their arms around him literally. He definitely goes up in the annals of great Dodgers after this playoff run.
I asked him about that last night, and I said, what did you learn about yourself this season? And he said that, life is bigger than baseball, which I thought, even in a moment of championship glory, not that it's his first time winning one, but I thought that was really selfless of him to say. Like, it's easy to get all caught up and say sort of baseball is the only thing that matters, or it's the only, I don't know, thing that you have in the real world or outside of the real world to kind of focus you. But he was just like, no, this is my job. He's like, I went to work on rehab for like a week straight, dude. It was hard as hell. And I credit him so much for that. And I think on some level, his toughness will be underrated kind of forever because he's not a barker. He's not a guy that's going to be chewing you out. He's, in fact, a really nice guy. But he is, across baseball, Marcus, you know this, the Dodgers term aside, he's one of the most likable guys, and I think he's really cemented himself as, frankly, a tough guy at this point in his career.
No, I think you're right. And, I heard during the series from friends who are Braves fans who said, look, we may not say it out loud, but we're kind of pulling for the Dodgers mostly because we want to see Freddie Freeman be successful. And it really is. Yeah. And I think when he came back after Max started to improve and he was able to get back on the field, I think you saw it not just from the reaction from the Dodger fans and the Dodger team, but from some of the other guys. I think they were playing, if I remember right, they were playing the Phillies. And I think Freddie ended up with a base hit. It was standing on first base. And I noticed that he and Bryce Harper shared a real great moment, just kind of a welcome back sort of thing. And you got that sense from around the rest of the league that people were just happy for Freddie on a human level to see him be able to go through this and still endure and still go out and perform at an amazing level.
And another thing too, we're talking with Marcus Grant of the Blue Review, like with the actual host of the Blue Review.
We're just here squatting.
Yeah. We've engaged in squatters' rights for this show. Like talking about Freddie Freeman, the person, and like the character. I remember, I don't have the quote in front of me exactly, but I'll paraphrase a bit. Oh, I actually just found it. He was talking about Ohtani and, the state that Ohtani was playing in with that shoulder that you could see by the end of this series. He could barely move the thing. And he said, quote, when you have a group like this, they pick me up when I've been down, and we'll try to do the same for him. This is Freddie talking about Ohtani, but he's saying this as he's playing through his own pain and his own discomfort. Like, yes, they had lifted him up before, but he was still in the process of not being close to 100% when he recognizes, I got to be a part of lifting up this other guy. So if nothing else, it just speaks to this dude must be an amazing teammate in that clubhouse.
I think what's different about this team versus some of the other teams is that you sort of got a sense of the closeness of this group. And I know one of the things people had said about the Dodgers is that they needed sort of that guy on the field or in the dugout that could kind of sort of unite them and galvanize them. It was something that they seemed to be missing before. And I think a lot of different people took turns with that job. I think Teoscar did an amazing. I think Teoscar Hernandez was, not only just a major force in the lineup and on the field, but I think what he brought to the clubhouse was incredible. I think, Freddie, obviously, with his play and having to go through his situations. Shohei, I heard you guys talking about Shohei and sort of being humanized by the Ipe situation at the beginning of the season. I think everybody sort of played their part in helping bring this ball club together. And I think for all the things that happened, nothing will epitomize this season and this playoff run more than Kike Hernandez at the end of the NLDS looking around and saying, we don't give a bleep. Because in that moment just felt like the Dodgers said, you know what, to hell with this. It wasn't true, but it was one of those all we got is us sort of moments, and obviously they had a whole city behind them, but you just felt like this group was like, we are really going to pull together. We're going to make this thing happen. There's the story that, they put the wives and the kids on a different plane to get out to New York because these guys wanted to try and get that bond together. It just felt different in that regard versus some of these other playoff teams that fell short.
All right, starting
they were doing
tomorrow.
that for all the series in the playoffs, AK. They did that in San Diego. Sorry. Yep. And and they did that coming up. I mean, you're right, Marcus. I mean, and again, this getting back to those of us who deserve Doc. This is the hard part. You know what I'm saying? Is letting guys cook in that manner, letting guys make their, you bring the ingredients to some degree, or you give the recipe and you let guys cook however they want. I mean, that's the tough part of the job. I think that contributes to it. Okay.
And Marcus, I 100% agree. Marcus, you deserve the Blue Review, and I believe starting tomorrow you get your own show back. So that's very exciting. Marcus Grant, the co-host of the Blue Review.
I can tell you, by the way, guys now with 100% fact that 100% of the seasons I have been on the Blue Review, the Dodgers have been champions. That's all I know.
Wow. Okay, 100%. That's a pretty strong hit rate. Yeah. That's like when guys hit a bomb in game one. He's on pace for 162. That's one of those.
Look, facts are facts. The Dodgers have never not won a World Series when Marcus Grant has been a part of this station hosting the Blue Review. You don't need the analytics guys to figure that part out. It's right there in front of you.
No, turns out.
Marcus Grant, Blue Review co-host. Appreciate the time, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Fantastic, fellas. Enjoy the day.
All right, coming up next, Clinton, I want to hear a little bit more from you about just what it was like taking this in live. And there is a point about the Dodgers winning this championship, an importance to it that I don't think gets talked about enough, and I'll explain what that is. Coming up next, Blue Review, Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates, 710 ESPN.
The Dodgers are World Series champions, and this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Big news, Rams fans. Your favorite team added some new personnel. I'll cue up the announcement. Here we go. With the next pick in the NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams have chosen Jacob Ronnie as their chosen legal partner. That's right. The Rams decided to call Jacob. So remember, Rams fans, when you're injured, call the chosen legal partner of your favorite NFL team. Call Jacob.
Call Jacob.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SIZZLE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SIZZLE to 42424. That's SIZZLE to 42424.
The Temptations. And the Four Tops. celebrating 40 years of Temptations in Four Tops. Saturday, January 18th at Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. Plus celebrating 60 years of the iconic hit, My Girl. Tickets on sale now at FantasySpringsResort.com. Come celebrate 40 years of magic. The Temptations, the Four Tops.
Be sure to listen to Rams Super Bowl champion DeMarco Farr every Monday in the 9 a.m. hour on his new show, The Travis and DeMarco Show. He's going to give you his best of from the whole football weekend. And you know, when DeMarco serves up a best of, you know it means something. Don't miss it. They've got their best of the weekend, plus your chance to win a Fantasy Springs weekend getaway prize pack with your best of. That's Mondays in the 9 a.m. hour on the Travis and DeMarco Show on 710 ESPN. Made possible by Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. Escape the everyday at Fantasy Springs Resort Casino, just minutes from Palm Springs.
Hey, what up? It's Matt Barnes here. If you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law.
For me, it's about getting the top result and the top value for your claim. Even if you didn't have insurance during the accident, Uncle Artie will still help you. I'm sure a lot of you out there got turned back from attorneys when you said, I don't have insurance. Well, guess what? Uncle Artie can still help you. It does not matter. Give us a call. You have nothing to lose. We take the case on a contingency. You don't pay up front.
Uncle Artie's not just my friend, but he's your uncle in the business. Artie Pernia is a seasoned personal injury attorney who works with you so you receive the best possible compensation for your case. Let Uncle Artie and the Pernia Law family provide peace of mind so you can focus on your recovery.
Trust us, trust Uncle.
When you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law, 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
The Dodgers are World Series champions, and we are live for the Southland all morning long. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. We continue on 710 a.m., the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, back to Andy and the Big CY.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
We deserve this. We've been playing really good baseball for a lot of years, and everybody talks shit about 2020 and whatever, but they can't say a whole lot about it now.
No, they cannot, because 2024, your Dodgers are the World Series champions. Blue Review, Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates in New York. Before, Clinton, we get to just what it was like seeing this live in New York with your eyes, because we are keeping tabs and I want to make sure everything's up to date. Beto Duran deserves Dave Roberts. Beto Duran absolutely deserves Dave
Cisco
Roberts.
Kid, what up?
Want to make
you
sure.
Sent me by the. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to make sure that the lists were up to date.
No, the lists are updated. I want to thank Beto for sending me a picture of a water tower, which he does every time he's traveling the world, because I love water towers. And Beto's great. Beto's an honest person, and it's not going to hide behind, well, it doesn't matter to me, they won anyway, when it comes to criticism of Dave. I appreciate that. Now, that being said, I'm in New York City because I'm here covering, or was covering, the World Series. I can see the Empire State Building from where I'm staying. So I'm in Midtown. Yankee Stadium is in the BX, the Bronx. I had to educate Scott Kaplan on what the BX was earlier this week. That was a very fun learning moment for everybody in the studio. Now, here's the thing, is that, like, there's been a lot of emotion this season with the Dodgers, and I think that, and I don't want to sort of bring this the wrong way, but I think that sort of the death of Fernando Valenzuela kind of reminded our community, and by our community I mean those that live in Los Angeles, of what the purpose of the community is and why it matters. And when you go to New York, for all the legends, all the monuments, there's a soullessness that is tangible there. The entire place feels like effectively an airport lounge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the vibe. You know, airport lounges are nice. You get some free stuff. You can look at some cool things. But, like, the entire sort of operation was it wasn't even sterile. It's just that the brand that they push in terms of the experience is not great, and it's kind of one-dimensional. And I feel that for a Dodgers team that, as we just talked about with Marcus Grant, real host of the Blue Review, which you can catch, of course, every day at 8:30, that was obvious. Like, the Dodgers felt like a real team and not just a collection of dudes that were getting bossed around by another guy. And I don't know that I've ever seen such an obvious sort of binary between two teams, or not even binary, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is, but just dichotomy between, sorry, I'm thinking too fast. The dichotomy between who the Dodgers are as a squad, never mind a franchise, that's a different discussion, and who the Yankees were as a squad compared to their franchise was night and day. Night and day. And so you see these Yankees fans come in, and their whole identity is based around something that basically is like, it's very Laker-like, to be quite honest. We got more rings than you. That's all that matters. You can't say nothing, blah, blah, blah. But then when, like, a real team walks in, you're like, oh, wait, these are kind of – they're big boys too, and people like them. It seemed almost as if the Yankee fan base was kind of caught off guard by the fact that they didn't win the psychological battle historically. They certainly didn't win any of that intimidation element season to season on being the Yankees. They were just the opponent, and the fans respected it as such and kind of understood it as such. The vibes at Game 4 were garbo. I felt like things were going to go wrong from the beginning, and then Paul O'Neill sailed the first pitch over the catcher's head, asked for a redo, and then threw a 60-footer. That's how bad things were going, never mind when Mookie went into the crowd and a couple of jabrones decided they wanted to take the ball out of his glove. Like, the Yankees fans were not ready for the Dodgers to walk in there with no fear, play better baseball, and walk out with the commissioners.
Yeah,
not even close.
What a 24 hours for that Capo Bianco jackwagon. Like, Game 4, he gets ejected, like tossed, cuffed, taken out of Yankee Stadium after plunking down what must have been serious money for those seats an inning in. Not to mention what was clearly a hefty bar tab, given the way that guy was acting. So that's his Game 4. Within 24 hours, he watches his Yankees. You know, the team that he's got to defend that wall, Clinton, that's his self-appointed job, defending that effing wall, whatever that means, because that makes no sense. Enjoy yourself, Capo Bianco. Like, what a 24 hours that guy had. Like, what a way to become a legend in jackassery. Unreal.
Going home to your family, hey, well, how'd the game go, honey? Well, it's like the worst. It's like a King of Queens episode gone completely awry into like the Z-axis of whatever. Like, no, you do not want to bring it up. You do not want to talk about it. You are now that loser. That being said, I will commend the Dodgers for just, again, there's something to be said about going into hostile environments, executing what you need to do, and being able to carry through the task without losing your cool. I told you this before, but I was in the clubhouse after Game 4, and it's a chaotic scene, Andy. People are everywhere, and these guys are like, I get it. There's 3 times as many people as there are, even from L.A., to be quite honest, because it's the World Series and it's in New York, and they dealt with it well. They were professionals, and they were good teams to each other. Sometimes you get mad when teams say that because it feels like it's a lie. It feels like it's just something to cop out when you're telling the media so you don't actually have to answer any questions. No, this Dodgers team really was tight, and it paid off in the end because when the chips were down, to keep using cliches, they didn't fold. They knew when to hold. Kenny Rogers, great guy, sidebar.
And they never walked away. They never ran. And that's
never.
That's why.
And they knew when to run. They knew when to run as well on the base pass.
Right, but never run away.
It was great performance by a good team.
Absolutely.
Very cool to see with my eyes.
Coming up next, I want to get into, though, why it was so important, this particular World Series. I think there was an importance to it that I don't think gets discussed a lot, and I think is so important for the Dodgers moving forward. So I'll talk about that coming up next. Blue Review, Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates, 710 ESPN.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Congratulations, Los Angeles! World Series champions! Get to Dick's Sporting Goods for a huge selection of officially licensed Los Angeles Dodgers gear, including hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more for the whole family. So get to Dick's Sporting Goods now for the best selection of officially licensed apparel and accessories in town. We have everything you need to show off your team pride. Shop in store or online at Dicks.com. Every season starts at Dick's.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
If it's hot, it's here. The best new stuff is at GNC. GNC brings you some of the best new products first from brands like Optimum Nutrition, Ghost, Bloom, and more. GNC has the newest breakthroughs in muscle building, weight loss, and wellness, and the best energy drink flavors. If you heard about it at the gym, you can bet that conversation started at GNC. Ask a coach about the newest drops at your GNC store or shop our full collection online at gnc.com today. If it's hot, it's here. GNC.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title? No problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Paid for by Cars for Kids.
Hey guys, it's Cappy. You've heard me talk about my personal situation with my divorce and subsequent custody battle in the past, and I know that you need a team behind you to get the justice you deserve. My friend Mark Reel and his team at Real Fathers Rights are here to help you guys. Visit realfathersrights.com/710. That's REEL. realfathersrights.com/710 or call 323-870-1611. That's 323-870-1611. Real Fathers Rights, the Father's Rights Attorneys.
Hey, LA, let's talk trash. Food waste, that is. Tossing your food scraps in the regular trash sends them to landfills where they release harmful gases like methane. Fight global warming by simply sorting your food scraps and placing them in your green bin. It's quick, it's easy, it helps protect our planet. Ready to do your part? Visit cleanla.com or call 888-CLEAN-LA for more tips. This message funded by Cal Recycle.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Meet Freddie! Game 1 of the World Series!
Couple quick things, AK. By the way, you're listening to the Blue Review Morning Show on ESPN 710 Los Angeles. Andy Kamenetsky, Clinton Yates here. Am I allowed to show my scorecard that says the F word on it on YouTube? Is that okay? Is the FCC going to come kicking the studio door down if I do that? Because it's on the graphic on the lower third, but that comes from a place. I'm going to show it. I don't care.
I was going to say, this is really above my head. This is not a call I can
That's what it says.
unilaterally make.
Quickly. That's what it says. So, yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
Very nice. You know, okay, this is weird. Real quick before I get to the thing that I think is really important about this series. They're showing right now the Dodgers arriving back in L.A. after winning the World Series. They're making their walk down the steps of the private jet.
I'm bummed I'm missing this. Yeah,
this is apparently the Patriots' private jet. Like, it's all
Really?
decked out in Patriots, like signage and wrapping and stuff
I'm
like that.
glad you brought this up because those of you know my day job is that I am a columnist at ESPN Anscape. I just dropped a column, and you know what the headline says. Los Angeles Dodgers outfielder Mookie Betts will haunt the Boston Red Sox forever. Let's think about this for a second quickly, AK. They let that man walk for money reasons.
Inexplicable.
I will never understand how you fixed your face to say we can do better without Mookie Betts than with him. You talk about these deserve lists, AK. Boston never deserved Mookie. No, not even once. And now he's won 2 without them in a 5-year span. It's unbelievable.
On top of just how incredibly talented Mookie Betts is, you want to talk about high character, everybody loves him guys. Like, correct. Mookie Betts is impossible to dislike. Like, he is one of the most just, forget charismatic, just purely likable athletes you're ever going to see. Like, he's in the, like, smile Mount Rushmore of athletes with Magic Johnson. Like, the idea that you let that guy that is so great that everybody loves walk over money when you are, the little ma and pa shop known as the Boston Red Sox. Crazy. But, okay, speaking of money, Clinton, and the pressure that can come with money, the importance of the Dodgers getting this World Series right out of the gate in the first season of the Ohtani, Yamamoto, Glasnow. We just spent $1 billion on top of what we've already spent with Mookie and Freddie and Will Smith. That was an 800-pound gorilla potentially on their backs. Like, whatever questions about Dave Roberts, however stupid they are, gone.
Right, that aside.
Like, whether Ohtani can deliver in the playoffs, gone. Whether Freddie and Mookie still have it anymore, gone. Whether they spent too wildly, gone. Whether they're going to have to spend more to try to overcome their wild spending, gone. Like, it was so important to just get this ring out of the way now. Not that people are going to be satisfied, not that one is enough, but you don't have to address that moving forward. Everybody can perform from their best place of confidence without any damn noise because they got the thing out of the gate first time out.
I totally agree. And I would say that there was some element of relief in the vibe around this team, in the clubhouse, and around the team during the course of this playoff run. And, look, this idea of only one or whatever it may be in terms of dynasties, like, there is a world in which, and I don't want to get all into the etymology of dynasty, but, like, it's not like teams repeat in baseball anymore.
No,
this is not like a thing that happens. And so if you get even one after being in contention for many years, that is a reasonably new definition of what dynastic is, if we're going to go that far into what the word nerds want to say about it, of which I am one. And, like, yes, you're exactly right. Like, getting one under your belt so people can stop arguing about silly stuff like Rings Mountain in the larger context of things, man, that's got to be a relief. And by speaking of 800-pound gorillas on people's backs, what is Giancarlo Stanton doing running around the base paths? He looks like he had a literal 800-pound gorilla on his back when he was trying to run the bases when Uncle Scar threw him out. I remember saying to myself, Scar, brother, like in Lion King. I was like, I can't believe he threw that dude out. What was he doing right? That's another story. But
my reaction was, is Stanton this slow? Like, I don't remember him being this slow. I mean, because he's such a great player, I think you just assume that he can do everything and that he's fast as hell. Like our perception has been warped by Ohtani, who should not be, like, that big, that strong, and that fast. But I'm watching Stanton going, like, I thought the dude was faster. Like,
right.
I mean, he got thrown out from left. Like, why was he getting sent? I did not.
Garbage send by Luis Rojas. That's another story. But I'm just relating that back to your point, because when you think about all these guys in terms of getting the championship out of the way, dude, Aaron Boone has never won a championship.
Yep.
As a player nor a manager. He was going through it last night. And that one you talk about, the elusive just one. Sometimes that just one for some guys' careers is enough to make their lives and make their efforts in terms of what they did. The 2024 Los Angeles Dodgers were not only the best team in baseball, they were also the team that won the World Series. It's not easy to do both. They did it.
I'll take a couple calls quick. Let's start with Mortley. Mortley, correct?
Hey,
Hey,
how's it going?
What's up, Morley? What do you got to say?
Hey, I love your list, by the way, AK. That's a wonderful list. And, if everybody thinks that Dave Roberts that anybody could do it with the Dodgers, I've got 2 words for you, actually 4. Del Harris and Doug Collins.
Yeah.
Right? They had the teams, but they couldn't get it done. What Dave Roberts has done is more than this postseason. He's done it for the 8 years he's been here.
He's been fan. Appreciate the call.
Good call.
Yeah.
Got in, got out. Excellent work.
Ernesto, what's up, man?
Hey, I want to talk about Dave Roberts.
Do it.
You're on the air, Ernesto.
Turn on your radio, man.
All right. Hey, I've been one of the biggest Dave Roberts haters all my life, ever since 2017. And this postseason, he was a maestro. He performed the master class, and he's probably the greatest, or one of the greatest, second greatest behind the Florida Dodger coach ever. And excuse me, I really celebrated really hard last night, and this championship really means a lot, especially after the Mickey Mouse everything. So I have a lot of Angel fans. I'm from Orange County, and I have a lot of Angel fans friends, and this is for them.
I mean, look, thanks for the call,
Why
Ernesto.
are you bringing up the Angels? Yeah, forget the Angels.
Those
Halos are not related here.
I mean, who cares what they say? Like, really, what are you sweating what your Angels fans, friends are saying? Like, those guys have got way more important things to be worrying about and sweating than your celebration of the Dodgers. Let's hear from David. What's up, David? David, you with us?
Yes.
All right, say
what do you want to talk about?
My God.
Hey.
Was everybody celebrating last night?
Apparently so. Maybe we need to have a call-in session of what were you drinking last night.
Okay. I'm going to spoon feed.
Chris.
I'm going to spoon feed Chris. What do you want to talk about, Chris?
Hey, I'm back talking about Dave Roberts and the team being so amazing again. What I was trying to get across earlier is how many guaranteed Hall of Famers are on this amazing Dodger team that's about to repeat. You got Kershaw, Freeman, Betts. Now, is Dave Roberts, with his second championship, especially if repeat this upcoming year, is he going to be a guaranteed Hall of Famer, guys?
Glenn, you know the history better than I do.
Of what, Dave Roberts?
No, just how the Hall of Fame works and the qualifications, stuff like that.
Dave Roberts has 3 titles, which in itself is probably enough to get you in. But Dave Roberts also has moments that people remember from his time as a Red Sox, as a player, to winning one of the most memorable World Series there were, for lack of a better term, in the pandemic. And now taking down the Bronx Bombers. I think so, yeah. I mean, look, I don't get too nuts about Cooperstown. I don't really care about Cooperstown that much. But I feel that it might be a Veterans Committee kind of situation. You know what I mean? Because, well, look, do you get in as a player? Do you get in as a manager? That's also part of this discussion, is that they have all these weird silos in Cooperstown that I find very unnecessary, differing from, let's just say, your basketball Hall of Fame, AK, where if you had a hoop in your backyard and enough people liked you, they let you in. That's another story. But, like, I think for me, whether or not Dave Roberts gets into Cooperstown, Dave Roberts has had a Hall of Fame career in the general concept of life. And I think that that's something that, kind of matters. It would be cool to see him get in, maybe just to see what he would say, maybe jam it to a couple people that doubted him. But other than that, I don't think that he's want for any extra respect. He's got it.
Absolutely, man. All right, coming up next, we're going to do a little super crosstalk with Travis Rogers, DeMarco Farr. Your Dodgers are your World Series champions. 710 ESPN.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And this is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. We are celebrating, Jack. More of the Blue Review Morning Show coming up next. Powered by LAX. Book now at parking.flylax.com.
Milkshake, prime ribs, chicken and waffles. Well, I was dreaming I was dressed as all the food items at the marketplace. And now the top reasons to visit Morongo.
The marketplace makes dreams come true, so long as your dreams are of eating delicious food, not actually being the food. Duh.
Number 2.
Order your Thanksgiving feast to go starting November 4th.
And the number 1 reason.
Music Soul Child, live November 15th. Get tickets now.
Morongo, good times.
ESPN LA and Beverly Hills Orthodontics are teaming up this fall because we want to know who's smiling in SoCal. Go to ESPNLA.com and nominate who you think is making LA a better place. This can be a mentor, a teacher, a coach, a good Samaritan, a youngster who brightens your day. Tell us who's smiling and you could win some awesome prizes like sweet tickets from ESPN LA, Sonic Care electric toothbrushes, whitening treatment, and a grand prize of Invisalign from Beverly Hills Ortho. Enter now at ESPNLA.com and remember you're always smiling at Beverly Hills Orthodontics.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Check this out. The new iPhone 16 Pro built for Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. Trade in any phone from one of our top brands for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Plus, get a new iPad. Trade in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Congratulations, Los Angeles! World Series champions. Get to Dick's Sporting Goods for a huge selection of officially licensed Los Angeles Dodgers gear, including hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more for the whole family. So get to Dick's Sporting Goods now for the best selection of officially licensed apparel and accessories in town. We have everything you need to show off your team pride. Shop in store or online at Dicks.com. Every season starts at Dick's.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A good karma brands radio station.
The Dodgers are World Series champions. And we are live for the Southland all morning long. This is the Blue Review Morning Show with Andy Kamenetsky and Clinton Yates. Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. We continue on 710 AM, the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. Once again, back to Andy and the Big CY.
Not just Andy and the Big CY, but we've also got Travis Rogers. We've got DeMarco Farr. Emily is here. And we are all, it appears, in our sunglasses. I think Clinton is even in his sunglasses in New York. Channeling a little Morales?
It's Halloween.
Yeah,
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
It was really the Boo Review.
Yes.
The Boo Review.
Yeah.
Emily gave me that one.
How did we get through the whole show without you getting the Boo Review? That was hilarious.
I've been begging for it all week. I asked them last week to do Boo Review all week, and then I finally asked for the last segment.
Well, finally you get a little talent that listens, Emily. Some talent that's producible.
Emily, next time, text that to me directly. And I will
saying.
find a way to make that happen. That is
talent
great.
that's producible. Okay, Travis.
Yes.
We got to start with your reaction. Like, arguably the biggest Dodger fan at this station. You're certainly up there.
Uh-huh.
What was this experience like for you last night?
I mean, what's a better word than wonderful, ecstatic, thrilled, elated? It was everything that I've been hoping to get to experience for this run of Dodger baseball for the last 13 years. And we got 3+ hours to get into all this. I popped the champagne cork last night. I touched base with a bunch of people that were Dodger fans last night that were excited the way that I was excited. And, I get it that the Dodgers were not an underdog in any meaningful way. The Dodgers spend a lot of money and all this, but they'd done all of those other things before, and it hadn't gone their way.
You know what, though?
And they finally punched their ticket in a 162 for the first time since 1988.
Let me jump in here. Let me jump in here. I need to know what you were doing when you were watching the game. I know you've got a whole show to chalk talk
Drinking.
baseball.
No.
How is this going?
I look, I'm not going to lie, Yates. I gave up in the third inning. I not gave up like they're going to lose the World Series, but I'm like, this is coming back to L.A. This is
that checks.
Not Walker Buehler, Jack Flaherty had another clunker,
had a rough night.
And he had a bad night, and the Garrett Cole was absolutely dealing. And I was sitting on the couch watching the game and not in the best mood in the world. It's like, all right, well, first time a team's ever forced a Game 6, and let's see what happens next. And you're kind of, you know this as well as anybody else. Baseball gets weird sometimes. So you never are like, I'm not going to turn it off and like turn on a movie or something. But it was, something weird's going to have to happen. And it did. And for the first time in a really long time, the weird thing that happened went the Dodgers' way. It was unreal. It was amazing.
Well, this is what I wanted to say, Travis, is that I think one of the things as an outsider sort of observing this, and by outsider I mean somebody that's not, rooting for either team but is close to the situation, there was no real point in that game where I thought, I definitely think the Dodgers are going to lose, and that's what's interesting about it. You kind of got the feeling that the Yanks, because of the team, a team that throws it around a lot, a team that doesn't run the bases well, they were going to find a way to blow this because the Dodgers are at fundamentally sound in terms of everything they do. It was interesting to see what Dodgers fans versus Yankees fans thought, looking at that from other different sides.
The moment where I'm like, okay, it ain't happening tonight. It was the Judge catch up against the wall. That was the time where you're like, all right, that was a great catch, and the ball was hit hard, and he still got nothing out of it. That was the time to say it's not our night. Not like giving up on the whole thing, but I did think that, all right, tonight's not the night. And I hear what you're saying. The Yankees, they run the bases poorly. They don't field cleanly. They're a sloppy baseball team, and sloppy baseball teams make mistakes, but we had never seen a team come back from 5 runs in that situation. We'd never seen 5 unearned runs in one inning. And so I was not expecting had it been 2-0, 3-0, okay. But once it got to 5 and once Judge is making catches like that, I was all right, let's go Yamamoto. Let's see what happens next. And then it happened.
But here's the thing, though. Like, for all the money that the Dodgers spent on this payroll, and it's worth reminding, it's not like the Yankees went out there nickel and diming.
No, that wasn't the Oakland A's.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, they spent plenty of money themselves. But for all of the money the Dodgers spent, they still beat the Yankees in the unflashy fundamentals.
100%.
Like, those things that actually matter. And they overcame a lot of adversity in terms of the roster that they paid for was nowhere close to whole.
No.
And Ohtani and Freeman were out there on the field when clearly they were not physically, especially Ohtani, close to 100%. They had to earn this thing.
What today is Thursday, so what day of next week, if not sooner, do we hear of Shohei's going to have a minor procedure on his shoulder? That Freddie's going to have a minor procedure?
About a week, yeah.
Right, is it Friday? Is that the day that we get that news?
I'm guessing yes. Yeah.
The four dude was holding his shoulder.
Yeah, it looked
holding
really
himself together.
It looked really bad. You could tell also by his swings that he just didn't have it.
Right, I texted Travis around the 8th inning when it was the 8th inning. The Dodgers have men on base. Like, you don't know if you're going to have this opportunity again. I'm like, I know this is crazy, but would you consider pinch hitting for Ohtani?
No.
The answer was no for two reasons. Number one, Ohtani, even significantly compromised, is still dangerous.
Yes.
Sure. And the other thing is, what else you got?
But you get why I was asking you,
I
though.
understand the question. It wasn't a crazy question, but
and
leave
Travis,
the door
I'll
open
tell you
for
this.
greatness. Yes.
in the press box, it wasn't a crazy notion at all. A lot of people were wondering, like, what's the button you press here? Because if he's literally just bailing out every pitch, he might hurt himself even worse.
And you
needed. But I want to ask you something.
You needed something in the outfield, and I'm not sure. I was not convinced he could do that.
It was a fair question.
Travis, can I ask you this while we have you quickly? I need you to walk me through the non-PFP that happened when Mookie cue-balled the ball to first base to Rizzo, and the pitcher didn't cover. You were a pitcher. You played. How does that brain fart go in terms of psychologically versus mechanically?
Honestly, Clinton, I'm not trying to like flex or I think I know exactly what happened. I really, truly do. And Aaron Boone kind of hinted at it as well. And when I heard him say it, I said, I knew it. Because here's what he was dealing. He had not given up a hit prior to that inning, right? He was as good as you could have possibly asked a World Series pitcher to be. He was dealing. And then his defense deeply betrayed him. Judge drops the fly. Volpe makes a bad throw. Chisholm is unable to dig the ball out of the dirt. Great slide by Kike. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit.
Correct.
And then he gets the bases loaded with nobody out. His defense has absolutely screwed him and put him in this position. And he digs deep, and he strikes out Gavin Lux. He digs deep, and he strikes out Shohei Ohtani. He is almost going to do the impossible thing, which is I'm going to get out of an inning where I had to get 5 outs, and I haven't given up a single run, and he gets another MVP to hit a soft, albeit spinning ground ball to first base, and for half a second, he thought, I got out of it. And in that moment, he forgot to go run to first base. And it was I did it, I got out, I didn't cover first base because Rizzo had to sit. He couldn't come charging through it because it was spinning like crazy. That spinner, you can't hit it at 100 miles an hour. You got to kind of bear down and almost hockey goalie style block that thing. And Cole blew it. But he blew it because it was I escaped the impossible situation, and for a fraction of a second, he let his guard down, and he forgot that automatic go to first base. It was, I just got Ohtani and Betts with the bases loaded and escaped. I just won this game. Oh, crap, I forgot to run to first base.
Pitcher accountability.
I believe that's what happened.
He relaxed.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you could say that Rizzo should have taken a dive for the bag or whatever, but you're right. I mean, he clearly just thought not clearly, but like there was a literal physical pause.
There
was you could see it on his face.
Yes, it was and then when he realized he had blown it, you could see all of those emotions run past his face like, hey, why didn't you? No, that's me. Oh God. He knew it was him. It was him. And Rizzo could have dived. Rizzo could have tried to do something in that moment and give Mookie credit for busting it out of the box and everything else. But I really do think it was a fraction of a second of I escaped the unescapable, and he went and fell asleep, and it cost him the game.
DeMarco, had you lost faith in that game?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, 5-0, I'm thinking you still have more chances than them to win this thing, so I didn't exactly give up on it, but I was surprised by the comeback. I really was.
It's unreal.
I was surprised
you don't deserve Dave Roberts, DeMarco?
No,
DeMarco, I think, has been on the list of people that deserves Dave Roberts.
But I still say this about pro athletes, and some things I just don't get, like baseball players not practicing bunting. Basketball
Did you hear
players,
what they said about Will Smith last night?
What did he say?
So when they brought him up late, right?
Yeah.
And Rizzo's practically on the cutout of the home plate. He's so close playing for the bunt. Will Smith's been in the big leagues for a very long time. You know how many sacrifice bunts he has in his life? 0.
That's crazy. But not practicing. Yeah. And then 0. Free throws for hoop. I don't know how Judge misses that in the outfield. That is a can of corn. I mean, that just tells you. Yeah, but the thing,
that wasn't a can of corn. The reason why he missed it is because he was too concerned about what the runner was going to do, and he was literally looking at another play.
I never say this. I never say this, Clinton, but I could have made that catch. Anybody could have made that catch. But it's not just that. It's how they reacted. I've seen this before with teams that are flawed. They're waiting for the other shoe to drop. One bad thing happens, and then 8 things happen in a row. Yeah. That's what shocked me. And I said this before when the Dodgers were up 3-0. I can't believe New York is going out this soft. There must be something going on. So that's indicative of what I thought New York would do and how they would crumble, and it happened.
All right, DeMarco, I'm looking right now in the YouTube comment section of the Blue Review. I mean, I may have to produce you a little.
Are they talking about my beard?
Just a treasure trove of knowledge
asked,
and intelligence.
What is that on your you may have to pull the thing up and over, because otherwise it's... Well,
this is a poorly thought out
Well, now
outfit.
you look like it's COVID.
I don't know what's going on here. I'm supposed
you
to
look
be
like
Morales.
you're wearing a COVID mask.
This is Morales.
You may have
just another dude at Home Depot on a Tuesday.
Yeah, you may have to cut out a mouthful, because otherwise it may be confusing.
We'll get this thing going as the show gets going. But happy to happy. I never gave up, but I thought that maybe they were playing for Yamamoto in Game 6. That's what I thought.
I was.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to now.
Oh, there, Emily. That's a good look.
Yeah,
I
see?
just got to look at Emily's costume. That's a winner.
It is a
final. Boo review.
Give us your best bam.
Bam!
Excellent work, too, with the shoulders and the hands.
Some beautiful tequila mandala, Jack.
Always swipe right, Emily.
Always swipe right on tequila mandala.
And always swipe right on Travis and DeMarco. That is coming up next, 710 ESPN.
And the Dodgers are World Series champions. The road to